First up, Boneyard Basin. This map was released last season, the Jurassic Park season, which was themed on dinosaurs and stuff. So this map was pretty creative with different things ranging from trees to the big dinosaur in the front, where you can take the ramp. There was also like a treasure chest parkour spot and it was like a challenge to find. So this map was pretty creative. So I would either give it like a B or an A. It is big, but it's still pretty decent. And it's creative. That's the most important thing in my opinion. What about you?
I would give it a B. For rating it out of creativeness, it would be an S, but I'm not a big fan of this map. I'll give it a B.
Alright, vote for B. Never mind, I can't vote. Oh, now I can. Cast your vote. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Alright, next we pause it. Okay, good. So next we have the sandbox. Where did that come from? Why is the sandbox next? Anyways, so the sandbox was released this season, which came out yesterday at the time of this video being recorded. It's like a pretty sick map with, like, it's really creative in my opinion, and it's even extra creative that the carts are small. Like the developer even said that, honey, I shrunk the carts. So, and it's really creative. They have game boxes there. They're Legos, and that robot you could see, one of the Smash Bros characters. But it is pretty small, and I like that because you can get a lot of kills in free for all, and it's good for 1v1. I would give it a A. What about you?
Oh yeah, I like the little white ledge on that hill because you can do like trick shots.
Yeah.
I would give it an A.
Alright, I'm gonna vote for 8 too. So next up is the old graveyard. It was the original graveyard. I guess it had a few tweaks here and there, but it's a really OG map. The mist is such a W. The whole map is a W because that's where I got my most kills on. So I might be biased, but I'm giving it a S. What about you? And it's also kind of creative, so.
To be honest, I don't really like this map. But I would give it like a B.
Alright, then let's go for A because that's the neutral. I voted for S, you voted for B. You ready for the next one? Yo, you ready? Yo, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Oh, alright. I think you just tuned out for a little there.
Yeah, you did too.
Oh, maybe it's lag or something. Next up we have Gravel Pit, also one of the OG maps. It is pretty great, creative. I like the construction theme. It is good for 1v1, it is good for free-for-all, and any other game modes in my opinion. It could use a little more creativity, like replace those blocks, like Ray said, with something more construction themed. But you know, it's pretty good. So I would put it in either A or B. But if it's in B, it'd be like a B plus. What about you?
I would give it an A. It's probably one of my favorite maps.
Alright, let's go for A then. Alright, next we have Stecky Speedway. Probably the most OG map Smash Cards has ever known. It is good for 1v1s. It is good for free-for-all. My opinion, pretty creative. It's a speedway. The trees, purple, OG, purple trees. I know the blocks, some people say they could be a little more creative, but in my opinion, they're fine. It's a speedway. The little details like a ramp or the tunnel you can go underneath just makes this map on another level. And as I said, it's one of the OGs, so I'd put it an S. What about you?
Yeah, same. I would put an S.
Alright, let's vote for S. Next up we have Space Stations. Not even Space Station. So for this one, let's just speak on both Space Station and Space Station's behalf. Space Station is overall a pretty chill map. It's pretty creative, but for 1v1 it's horrible because you cannot find your opponent.
Yeah.
For free-for-all, it's decent but very laggy. It is creative. Space Stations, which we are voting for now. For Capture the Flag, it is really laggy. It is okay. It is a cool map. So I put it in B or C. What about you?
I like that about the ramps that give you a boost. I think that's creative.
Yeah.
I would give it a C.
Alright, let's go for C. Next up, we just have Space Station. We just talked about that. I would give it the same as Space Stations. What about you? It's not much different.
Same.
So C?
Yeah.
Alright. Next up, we have Snowpark CTF, and again, we will speak on behalf of Snowpark and Snowpark CTF. Snowpark might have been in my opinion, one of the chillest maps ever, one of the best in creativity map. I'm pretty sure Snowpark was it was the first map with snow, which makes it really creative. And Snowpark was overall so good with the boosters, the huge tunnel, not tunnel, but it was like a cave underneath. For free-for-all, it's really fun in my opinion, creative, everything. S for me. What about you?
I would give this a D.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were talking about Snowpark. It's Snowpark CTF, yeah. I would give Snowpark CTF a D. It's too big for Capture the Flag. And the ramp just gives... And if you die, it's like you get a boost from the ramps. D for Snowpark CTF? Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah,
I thought it was Snowpark for a second. Alright, I think Snowpark's next. Snowpark, I'm going for S. What about you? I just explained why.
I would give it an A.
Yeah, sure. A is pretty good. And I even like the thing above. It's so cool. The parkour is awesome for this. This is probably the map where parkour has been biggest. There's also Easter eggs on this map, which make it even more special. So A. Let's vote for A, I guess.
Yeah.
Next we have Snow Shrine. Many people say that this map kind of copied Snowpark, and I agree, kind of. It's not on the same map. It's not on the same level as Snowpark, and it seemed like the devs wanted to add a map in a rush situation, so they added this in a dragon season, which made no sense. Overall, it's a pretty good map, especially for free-for-all. In my opinion, Vincent, there's nothing special about it. I'll give it a C. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like this map came right after Snow Park, the season after. Like what you said before, I feel like the devs just didn't know what to put for the next season for a map, and so they just made a copy of Snow Park. I'll give this a C.
Yeah, let's vote for C. Next, we have Smash Island, also one of the most OG maps, but in terms of creativity, I would say there's no creative level there, as it's just blocks and stuff. For 1v1 and free-for-all, it's probably one of the best maps, but in terms of creativity, it sucks. So I would put it in B beside Boneyard, because Boneyard is great in creativity, but lacks in how much people enjoy for free-for-all and 1v1s. While Smash Island lacks in creativity, but many people like for 1v1s and free-for-all. What about you?
I would put it in A, just because big Smash Cards moments have happened here, high scores and this is an OG map and stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll vote for A as well. Okay, so this time let's just talk about the capture flag map and then about the normal map after. So Smash 4, in terms of capture the flag map, I would say it's a pretty good capture the flag map. There are many ways to get the flag to the other side. It's a great place to get kills. Like in the midfield, you can dominate. So for the capture flag map, I'd give it a B because there's nothing special. It's just Smash 4 copy and paste, obviously, but it's pretty good. B?
Yeah, I would do B.
Alright. Now the OG map, Smash 4. I think many people like it for free-for-all and 1v1. It is not lacking creativity as much as Smash Island. However, there are such things that could be improved, such as those blocks. The pink blocks, I think, or the orange one. That one could be turned into something else. However, the tunnel underneath and the ramps make it a special map, and also it's pretty OG. So I would give it either A or B. What about you?
I would give it an A.
Yeah, fair enough. It's pretty good for snipe, and going up that ramp, you can get pretty cool snipes from there.
Yeah.
So A, yeah. Next is Slick and Slide. So this is also one of the 5 OG maps. 5 being Smash Island, Slick and Slide, Smash Forward, Steckies, and Gravel Pit, yeah. Those are the 5 OGs in my opinion. Slick and Slide, I would say it's one of the most creative maps out there. The idea of a pool in Smash Courts with a slide and that little center there with palm trees, it just hits different, not gonna lie. I'd put this in S. What about you?
Yeah, same. You do trick shots.
Yeah, especially the trick shots. This is probably the best map for trick shots.
Yeah, I would put S.
Yeah, me too. Next up, we get to the boring maps, I guess. Sky Arena Tunnels is pretty good for capture flag, but it is lacking creativity. The tunnels are a pretty good aspect, and it's cool that you have to get to the base before you can get the flag, which makes it hard. But as I said, it lacks in creativity, and it's just an average map, nothing special about it.
Yeah.
So I'd give it a C. Because in my opinion, Boneyard and Smash 4 are better than Smash 4 CTF are better than Tunnels. I'll give it a C.
I feel like this goes with Snow Shrine and Space Station.
Yeah, me too. C. Next up, we have temples. I would say it's a pretty good map, especially the fact that you can get the flag from up there. It's a huge map, makes it good for capture flag. I know it is lacking a little bit of creativity, but I still think it's a pretty good map. For me, it's B tier. What about you?
Actually, this is one of my favorite. It's my favorite CTF map. I really like that little hill at the top where you can use Spiky or Invincible to jump onto the little circle base.
Yeah, that's a cool aspect. So, B or A?
I would give it an A.
For the sake of the tier list, let's just put it in B because we have too many A's.
Yeah.
But it certainly could be considered an A.
Yeah.
Next we have Showdown, another capture flag map. It is very similar to the other Sky Arenas. Not very, but you can kind of see the relationship. It is kind of small, not as small as Smash Island for CTF. I would say the same thing I said for Tunnels. It is lacking creativity, but it's still a decent map. I'd give it a C. What about you?
I feel like this should go with Temples and Smash Fort CTF. Just because, it's a little more creative. There's balloons.
Yeah, fair enough. And the only reason Boneyard Basin is not higher is because, honestly, nobody likes it for any game mode. Because it's creative, really creative, but it's not good for 1v1, it's not good for free-for-all, so...
Yeah.
It is kinda, but it's not one of the best. So, for Showdown, we put it in B tier?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Right in the middle. Next up, we have Sky Arena Pinball, another Sky Arena. However, this one, you don't play capture flag on it. It can be used for 1v1, teams, or capture the flag. No, not capture flag. Free-for-all. So this map, in my opinion, lacks creativity. There's nothing except some, blocks you can hide behind. Or there's, the blue circle in the center, and then you just play free-for-all. It's a good free-for-all map, it's a good 1v1 map, and it's a good 2v2 map because one of the tournaments went to the third match, we won, me and Cass, yeah. Memories, yeah. So I would put it in B tier because it lacks creativity a lot, but people love it for 1v1, free-for-all, and stuff, yeah?
Yeah. I feel like this is just a perfect definition of just mid.
Yeah, for real. Average, kind of. Next we have the goofiest map of all, Sky Arena Drop Zone. Even I don't consider this as a map. I consider this as an April Fool's prank because there is no way one of the top team developers had an idea to design this map because it is absolutely horrendous. It is basically Sky Arena Pinball, but they opened up the gates so you can fall at any point. It is too small for free-for-all. It is too goofy for a normal 1v1. So it's just a horrible map. I would put it in D tier.
Yeah, same.
Kind of feel bad for Snowpark CTF. It doesn't belong with Drop Zone.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Skate Park, which was released during the Olympic season. In my opinion, it's a pretty sick map. It has a style of a normal skate park with various bumps. And also the little details make it so special, like the writing in spray, smash carts, or those lights, or those buildings in the background. This just makes this map sick. So I'd either put it in A or S. What about you, Vincent?
I would put it in A.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but not really good.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like it very much for free-for-all and 1v1 because I keep losing, but it's really good in terms of creativity. Next up, we have Lava Pit CTF. So we're going to speak for CTF map, not for Lava Pit. In my opinion, it's kind of creative, but definitely not more creative than maps like Boneyard Basin, Smash Fort, or Skate Park, or Snow Park. It is lacking different details. However, in the CTF map, one side is purple while one side is orange, which makes it decent. However, the map is kind of weird itself, that there's so many places that you can fall if you're not driving well. Makes it kind of like Skyrim in a drop zone. Overall, it's a good capture the flag map, so I'll put it in C tier or B. What about you?
Oh yeah, I like the theme, like the lava theme is.
Yeah, same.
Just that you'd literally just put two lava pits together and made like a path in between them.
Yeah, and the fog is also sick, and the rocks in the background.
I would give it a C.
Yeah, not to mention also those rocks coming out of the lava. That makes it sick, but doesn't mean it's a very good map. C it is. Next up, we have the original lava pit. I think it came out before season, and before season's maps just came out randomly. So yeah, it did come out before seasons. I remember, yeah. So in my opinion, it's not a good map for free for all, and it's not a good map for 1v1, and it's not even creative. At least Lava Pit CDF was a pretty decent map for capture the flag. Lava Pit has no use. It's not even creative like Boneyard Basin. So I'll put it in D.
I feel like it would be more of a C, just because like Snow Shrine is a C.
Yeah, for real, you're right. C it is. It's more like a C minus or a D plus, you know?
Yeah.
Next up, we have Graveyard CTF, and I don't know why they're in this order, but it's okay. So Graveyard CTF, overall, it's a really good map for CTF. It's big, which I like for CTF, and there's also various ways you can, enter to grab the flag. There's different entrances. There's also different routes to take back to your base, which is amazing in my opinion. And the mist and the details, and for example that skeleton on the little arc and the gates are just amazing. The purple water also adds up. I don't think this belongs in S, and I don't think this would go in A, but I think this would go in B and be like a B plus, very close to an A. What about you?
Yeah, I think this is. I like the colors and the mountain where you can go up with the flag and then drop down into your base.
Those are also sick. So B?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit above average though, but it's okay. So the last map for today is Graveyard. Well, not for today. That's the only maps that are here in Smash Cards so far. So Graveyard, in my opinion, is not too creative, but is definitely not on a low creative. It does not have low creativity like the Sky Arenas or like Smash Island. It is definitely creative with a Graveyard theme, even though they kind of took it from the old Graveyard, but it's okay still. I like how they opened it up, so now it's great for free for all, and it's amazing for 1v1. If you don't think it's good for 1v1, you're wrong, because it's absolutely amazing. The only thing I wish, instead of those little those big, kind of like semicircles in the front of the map where you can like climb and take shots from there.
Yeah.
I wish it made them into something else, but other than that, it's a pretty good map. Vincent, for me, it's an A. What about you?
One thing I would like to say is that like if you have a straight shooter and you like go on like that gravel like, path,
Yeah.
like the cart goes up bumps and you shoot your straight shooter.
Yeah, that's also sick
so annoying.
because it's like not straight.
Yeah.
So that's all the maps, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for Vincent for doing this with me. And make sure you subscribe. And we're voting for A anyway, so you can open up the poll. Make sure you subscribe. If you don't subscribe, I'll find you. And thank you, Vincent, for helping me with this. This is our final map ratings. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more videos like this, please let me know in the comments. See you guys.